You'll need this word. Hello and welcome to the GhostÉire Channel. Sorry, now I'm a bit groggy this evening. My name's Anthony Kerrigan, and tonight we're joined by Cara, Nigella Davies, and Tracey Wilson from Third Eye Adventurers. Welcome everyone. Welcome, Carrie. How are you doing, Tracey? Welcome, welcome everyone there to the show. So tonight, the subjects we're going to be talking tonight about is my life in the paranormal, also Third Eye Adventurers, and the last subject is going to be about demonology. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to put them forward on this post. Also, if you have any questions for anything in general, you can go to our website, www.ghostére.net, go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in brackets, private message. If you're affiliated with any paranormal team or any tourist attraction, feel free to name the organization and we'll give a shout out to you as well. We also have a poll, folks. We will reveal the results later on at near the end of the show. We asked you the question, do you think demons are evil? You had 5 options, so we will go to Cara and Tracey to see what their views are on the results. Also, we have a quiz, folks, there. We have the opportunity to enter a Halloween mega draw and mini draw where you can win okay prizes. It's all right. nothing too major there, you know, nothing too major. But this, you've only got another couple more chances to enter this draw, and we will be coming up. We were doing the draw around Halloween time. Also, you can catch up on past shows and what's coming up in the future on the GhostÉire channel by pressing the red button on our homepage of our website. Hi, Tracey. How you doing, Cara?
Hi, Anthony. Hi. You all right?
How you doing? I'm just going to give you a few shouts out there. Bridget from Seekers of the Afterlife says, hi, Anthony. Hi, Bridget. How you doing? Irene's, hi, Bob. Hope all as well. Irene from California. Hope you're well away from the storm at the moment. I know it's going central to eastward. Myra says, shared. Oh, hi, Myra. How you doing? Joanne Green from Seekers of the Afterlife. Good evening to all. How you doing, Joanne?
Hi, all.
How you doing? So first of all, Cara and Tracey, I would like to ask though, we're going to talk about the first off is my life in the paranormal. I'm going to alternate the questions there. So first of all, what was your first experiences in the paranormal there, Cara?
Mine actually went right back to, I grew up in a house that was haunted. And this is my story. A house that was haunted, it was amazing. Now, I was about 7 years old when we used to, well, this is what I can remember from then. We used to hear the footsteps walking up and down the stairs, doors opening and closing on their own, lights going off and on. And my mum always was very sensitive. Like me, she was an empath, psychic. She was able to feel and sense spirits. And she was very understanding, and she knew there was something in the house also. So, but we used to sit and watch horror films. I was saying to you, remember, and the last interview was on, every Sunday was horror day. From we were no age, like no age. We used to have the horror movies on the Sunday, spend the whole day eating junk, watching movies, and that was with my mum. Yeah, so it always sparked my interest, and I'd like to know why they're here, what their story is, why they hang around, what caused them to, I just wanted to know more. And castles and houses were my main. That's my love, is to find out, especially the history around. Now, I done journey meditation, a bit of regression years ago, and I found out one of my past lives, I was actually in Dundrum Castle.
Okay.
Near Newcastle.
Right.
I could be a fascination there too from a previous life, that I've carried on. It's just interesting, wanting to know more about them, wanting to know their story.
Okay. And Tracey as well. How did you first start? Was watching horror movies yourself, or?
Pretty much from I was a kid, I loved anything to do with horror stories. But coming into the paranormal, as a kid, I had like a few sort of deja vu things, and that sort of sparked my interest. But I didn't do anything about it. And then when I was old enough, I actually started doing angel classes.
Okay.
With a girl in Lisburn, and she taught, she was teaching you how to connect with spirit and how to know when they're about and how to communicate a little bit. So she was amazing. She unfortunately doesn't do the classes anymore, but she was amazing, and that really got me interest started. Then I was busting to go out and find more about it. So I came across this hellion. Went from there, and now I'm loving it. It's buzzing. But
Can't get rid of me.
No, there's no getting. But now I've with that other girl, we did past life regression. I was actually a maid in a castle, like a kitchen maid, and it was unreal. I came out of it going, oh my Lord, I didn't ever believe in that, but I do now.
And so, like, we're going to talk about Third Eye Adventurers later on. There is there a particular moment linking your own personal life to the team there, or were you already in a different team beforehand, Cara, or?
Yes, we were in a team called Night Terrors Paranormal Researchers, NI. We actually, how long ago now would that be? About
2-3 months.
2-3 months now. We actually went on our own. Bit of a fallout. I'll not go into it.
Bit of drama.
But we actually broke out on our own, so we founded our own group. There's actually 3 of us in it now. Our other member is not present at the moment. I don't think we would have had room to fit him in here anyway.
Probably not.
But he's probably watching. I hope he's watching. Where are you, David Grogan?
Hello, he's our third wheel.
So we formed that, and from we have started, we have went from strength to strength.
I know.
We've got loads coming up, loads of investigations, interviews. Now this is my second interview.
It is.
My first was with Real Talk with Dom.
Yeah.
So it was, and we have loads. We have a big investigation next week, which we can't mention at the moment, but hopefully maybe after next weekend we can.
Yeah.
I'll mention it at the end of the show. I'm only joking. I'm joking. I'm messing.
Don't get us in trouble.
Our big live one, I think we can mention that. Haven't we?
Yeah,
we can.
In Cumber House again.
September, Cumber House. It's the world's largest ghost hunt.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have it coming up as well, and a couple of our wee ones as well. But yeah, we've got some amount of followers all around the world. We're
constantly getting invites to different investigations. It just depends on our own personal lives whether we can go or not.
And has there been before, like, you went into a team, was there a situation where before you made that step of going to places like going out of your own domain and all that, was there a fear in doing it, or a real adrenaline rush, or what am I let myself into?
Yeah, well,
true, Tracey?
Yes, absolutely, there was, because you're not sure, you want to know more, but you're not sure if you should. But then when you go out and you go past your kind of fear boundaries, and if you see or hear something that could not be explained, you get such a buzz off that. It's unbelievable. It's just like euphoria. You want it to happen again and again. Obviously spirits don't work like that, but you just want more and more, because it gives you that sort of high, because you just want it. You want it so much. It's amazing when you do get it. It could be a tiny wee whisper or anything, but it's so fantastic when it does happen.
And I suppose like with paranormal stuff and ghost hunters and all that, well, ghost hunters they're called, like, is they're inspired by something there. Is there a sort of individual or a type of thing? I know you mentioned horror movies and all that. Was it TV, books, magazines, or just hearsay that got you involved, inspired you to do it?
I think it was a mixture of everything. I always loved the paranormal, and then I wasn't in a team till, that would be now 3-4 years ago. I was always on my own. I've done all my own sort of spiritual things here in the house, you know, and because I'm an empath, I've actually 2 resident spirits here in the house. But I'd always loved you. And then I met a friend of mine that we actually got together again from place we worked, and her husband was the founder of Night Terrors, and it said to me, would you be interested? And well, yeah. So that was me, you know, away. And just when you were saying to Tracey there about the fear of the first investigation that I went on was a place called Our Space Gallery in Lisburn.
Okay.
Remember walking around it, and it was a girl, she was showing us all, you know, this is, you know, this room here, this particular one has this entity that looks down from the rafters at you. And I put my head down. And she said, no, you have to sort of look up. And I said, well, I don't want to be saying that. I put my So I remember that night feeling so scared. And when I came away from it, but it was like, that was absolutely amazing. I couldn't wait to get back on another one. And after that, gradually, you know, it's like anything, it's the unknown, I think. It's the of the unknown. And once you realise too that, you know, spirits, they can't harm you.
No, true.
You know what I mean? The dead can't harm you. Now, you will get some entities that can be. I mean, I've been scratched, I've been slapped. So I have been affected by spirits, you know, but it's the fear that you show them. You know, when you keep your boundaries and you say, no, you know, you will not, you're not allowed to do that to me, or you're not, you know, that does work.
Yeah. Actually, coming back to, I'll ask Tracey this question now, I suppose. As you said, fear there, like people say, like people around other people, they can smell fear it there. Do you think spirits have, do they know, sense the fear of a person as well? Do you reckon, Tracey?
I think if it was a bad spirit, they can use it to their advantage and become stronger because they can feed off your fear. But any sort of, well, I don't want to say the word normal, but any sort of ordinary spirit that would maybe be residual going about their day to day, they maybe wouldn't even notice you were there. Or sometimes they want to communicate with you, so they might, you know, they wouldn't use your fear to scare you, but they would use it to get the energy to maybe talk to you and be able to communicate with you. So they can use your own energy that way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But we're just going to go to a few shout outs there before, you know, just people like to say hello there as well. Hugh James from Kappa County Action Research Association. Hugh says, hello, Anthony. Hi, guys. Gary Wilson. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Hi, everyone. Looking forward to this. Gary and Dean.
Hi, Dave.
Is Gary with a team, is he?
No, I just coax him along every now and again.
How you doing, Gary? How you doing anyway? Myra, good evening. Myra says good evening again. Yes, me too. Siobhan Gallagher says hi, everyone. Hi, Siobhan.
Hi, Siobhan.
Myra says hi. Hi again. Norma, how you doing, Norma?
Hi,
Looking forward to tomorrow. The kids are back at school there. How you doing? Brian McMahon from Belfast Paranormal Investigators. Hi, Brian. How you doing? Mary Nolan from Back in Time says, hi, guys. What would be your favourite location?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good. Well,
which castle?
My favourite one. One can be mentioned, not even.
Yeah.
My favourite one is Duckett's Grove.
Yeah, that's our favourite.
Both of your favourites?
Yeah,
beautiful location. Absolutely unreal.
Never let you down.
Yeah.
It's beautiful gardens, beautiful castle, even though it's ruins. It's an amazing place. Different experience every time you go.
Yeah.
And I suppose like with Duckett's Grove as well, it's amazing because you get the time there, isn't it? You're not rushed. You're allowed to do whatever you like to do there. You know, it's amazing when the owners of the property or people around are so
So it's
such a relaxing
brilliant.
place too. You know, I mean, the gardens in it alone. The last time that we were there, we done a journey
it was
meditation in the
amazing.
gardens. It was absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
It was ready
so
for that
peaceful.
night, and it so opens your senses, the third eye.
The third eye. We're going to talk about that now soon. That's cool. Like, but Flynn says, "Hi guys, entities do attach to yourself, but protection pairs is much needed before and after an investigation." We're going to actually talk about this now in a second there, Flynn. So I'm just going to we'll move on to this because the next video I'll probably show that I'm going to ask Cara about it. Donnie from Chicago.
Oh wow!
Hi Donnie, how you doing? He's the administrator for the WHO.
Oh.
They're not the World Health Organization, but actually the band. So, hi Donnie.
Yeah.
How you doing? Donnie was actually, I interviewed Donnie. He was actually administrator for the Cranberries as well for one point. Brendan Conroy says, hi from Leash. Hi Brendan, how you doing?
Hi Brendan.
How you doing? Joanne Breen says, grounding is important before and after investigation.
Very much so, yes.
Very important.
But do you think that certain spirits could attach to a particular person anyway if it feels a connection?
Oh yes, that's happened to me.
And me. It has happened before.
Yeah.
We've brought a few bits home, which we've then had to deal with afterwards.
As you'll be showing my video, Anthony, that was a particular one.
Yeah, so we're going to show the video now, folks, there. So we're going to probably why your questions are kind of evolving to around this type of answer. So this is what happened in Cara's house. Is that true, Cara?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's her house is a whole world of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to mute myself there and Cara, and it's just for a few seconds. So you can just probably see this there, folks. There, mind the language. But you would probably say if you saw it there. So here it is.
Fuck me. I was completely off.
Okay, so Cara, can you tell us what was happening there anyway? I mean, first of all, who was around there with you the moments beforehand?
Well, you'll probably see in the video at the back a wee head peeking out. Right, that wasn't anything paranormal. That was actually son there at the time. Him and his now wife was actually living at home, and that was actually about 3-4 nights or days after I came back from Duckett's Grove, and I knew from the next day that something had followed me back. The whole energy of the house had changed. I actually had to call Graham out in the middle of the night. My lights went off. The electric went out. I could hear it running up and down the stairs. The dog picked it up as well. He was starting growling, and I started filming, and I had sent it to Graham, and I says, look, there's something has followed me back here. And he says, it's actually in your room. There's this big orb rising off the bed. And he says, I said, you may come out here. So they come out and we got in contact with it, and it had followed me back. And as we were sitting at this table trying to contact it, it was turning my gas switch off and on. Thing, yeah. Now, this went on. I said to it, you're not allowed to be here. You're not welcome here. To go back to your own realm. It refused 5 times with the smudge this house and salt this house 5 times over a period of, that was a couple of months. They actually get it. Now, the last night, and it was with the light, so I'll go back to the light part. That was one morning. I was up cleaning around the house. Lights, so everything was off. This was during the day. My son was in. The next thing I could sense something was around me. Next thing the light started flashing. So I got the camera out and I was filming it. Right up at it, but it was also swinging.
Right.
And my son, you can see him in the background. He was scared stiff to come out of the room. But there was me, like up with the camera, going, "Oh, this," you know. But I knew the energy I felt from it. Now we're having 2, residents in this house, It's a different energy. I knew that this wasn't a good energy. It was a heavy energy. It drained my energy. It made me feel ill. I was down. I was depressed all the time. The final night that I got rid of it, I had smudged the house, and I actually done a ritual as well, letting candle blow out and all, inviting, help in from the archangels and everything to try and get rid of this. I had went up, got out of bed, and my back end was sitting in the bed, and the next thing it actually growled in my ear.
Okay.
And then it went. It was raging but it went. It hasn't, thank goodness, it has not come back like.
And I suppose, like, have you experienced this, Trace, in your own home as well? Do you reckon spirits can follow you back home?
I think they can, yes. After one investigation, I don't think it was in my house. I think it was more attached to myself, because nobody else was affected, only me. But I was very tired and a bit irritable, and just didn't feel my normal sort of happy-go-lucky self. And then I contacted sort of the rest of the team, and we were all feeling like that. So we actually had to cleanse ourselves as a team. We had to do like a team cleansing to get rid of it. Because it wasn't nice. Yeah. Whatever followed us back, it wasn't nice. That was from another place down south. So yeah, I've experienced it that way, but it didn't affect anything in my house, I have to say, or anybody else apart from me. So
and do you think, probably I'll put this to both of you, to you first, Cara, do you think they know it's your home?
Oh, I think they know it's from, yes. Yeah. Now, apart from, just as I'm talking about that, as the earlier question, I have a resident spirit in this house that has been around, and she's actually around us now. We can feel her. She's been here for quite a while, but she would never let us know who she is. And when my friends come in, and they can all feel her. They can. She's such amazing. But she's a lovely, lovely person. You can actually, I could tell it was female by her energy, but it's nearly like she's hugging you.
Okay.
But so she finally, with a board session there 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? 2 weeks. We actually done a session, and we said, please come, tell us who you are. We'd love to know who you are. We know you're here with us. She was around us, and we got her name, we got her age, and that she lived in this house, but she didn't know she'd passed on, which was sad. Which was very sad. Now she does. I explained to her she does. She hasn't now, I says, I'm happy you're here because she's lovely, and she didn't want to go on. I says, I can help you move on if you want, but she didn't want to. She wanted this was her house. And I said, I respect that. We live here, and was she happy enough that we were here? And she said yes.
So they're coinciding.
So we're coinciding.
Yeah. And I suppose that was the type of question I was going to ask. Do you think there's like a conflict, say this entity that came in, would that lady spirit, would have she acknowledged this spirit coming in? Do you think that's possible?
Yes, she protects.
She would be around Carolyn a lot more if there's something else in the house.
If there's something around. Now I have one that's residual, and he's male. He used to actually work in the stables when this was a farmhouse back in the 1600s.
Okay.
He used to walk. He still does.
He stalks in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, he does.
Great place.
You can hear the door opening, the shadow coming up the stairs, and he goes into one of the rooms. Now he doesn't communicate. He's just residual. He's just going about his own wee thing. But I think, just as you're talking about, that he's from a different era than her,
a different timeline, I would say.
Yes, and I don't think that they know about each other.
Okay. Is there potential for spirits to know of? I don't just come into my head there. Is there potential for spirits to be told from ourselves in this realms that there is spirits they could connect with?
Yeah, because when we have done the board, we have said, especially if we want to maybe talk to a particular person, we'd ask, is this person here? And would usually say yes. In most cases, say yes. So yeah, I think that they can
see each other on different timelines if they want to.
But I think especially residual is different than visitation, because residual could be something that they've done every day in their life in whatever era that they were from, and like they can be going say through the wall, and people say, "Oh, they're going through a wall," but maybe that wall wasn't there.
True.
In the doorway, and that's their exit.
And you said like the spirit was, it's frequents itself in the toilet area, but it might not have been a toilet beforehand. Like it's got to be in a stable yard, as you said, it was a stable point.
Yeah. We actually.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Sorry, I was saying I don't think he knows that we're even there.
No,
because he doesn't acknowledge or do anything to you. He's just there going about his own wee business.
True.
Harmful either, he's just coming home from work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If it was my toilet now, he'd be seeing me all the time. Sorry, no, that's a different subject now. Mary wants to know from back in time. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Have any of your team been affected badly by spirit whilst on an investigation? Once
I was affected, and it wasn't nice. I was actually doing a seance in this lady's own home that was haunted.
Oh, yes.
And yes, I've been affected there, and it wasn't nice. But we're doing a seance. But it was my first time ever even doing a seance, and I wouldn't be rushing back to do it because of that. Because it was quite intense. A strong, intense, bad energy. And it's in their home. Like, God help them, they have to live with it. But it was affecting me. I had to shake. My legs were shaking. My hands were shaking. It just wasn't nice. That was the part of the bit that followed me home that I had to get rid of, that we all had to get rid of. But that was the one time that a spirit has affected me like that. Generally, I can just feel they're there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd actually have to say, Anthony, that the same with me now. When there's ones around me, with depending on the energy of them, how it affects me, I can go from being just a lovely feeling to being actually physically sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, physically sick. And now when we contacted the woman, we got her name, Maggie. This is the one in my house. I didn't realize it was actually the team members here. Actually picked it up. My accent changed.
Yeah, she started.
Yeah. It can happen. I suppose it can happen. That it's like a form of transmediumship, as you said, like past life regression. There, like it's all combined there as well. And people would say channeling, and people would say possession, and as well.
And I was talking all country.
You just don't know what you're saying. Could be speaking in different language as well. I know it can happen. Irene says, hi ladies, is there a place you didn't like or would never go back to now, as you mentioned there, Tracy? Would it be that place again?
Even though that happened there, I'd be buzzing to go back. I would go back. I mean, it terrified us, but that's part of it.
We can't mention it.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think we can.
We can.
They no longer do investigations at this place, but I'm sure you probably know of this place anyway. It's the Sharon Rectory.
It's an amazing place.
Oh yeah, Sharon Rectory.
It's an amazing place.
It is an amazing
but
place.
It is a scary place. But that's, I would go back in a heartbeat because I would like to see what would happen this time. And that makes me sound like a complete lunatic.
True. I know we were talking to Emma Louise there before there, and I think I think everybody would love to go back there as well, but I suppose we've all got to sort of respect where she's coming from and all that.
It's actually far better that they don't go back.
Yeah, it is.
True. Flynn says, ladies, if you ever had to go to a site to revisit, where would it be and why? It's probably just mentioned there. It could be Sharon Rectory. Is there any other places you'd like to go? Revisit.
Grove is our
Duckett's Grove
favorite place in the world.
But we have lined up, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
It's actually now, we're booked in, but it's not the 2023.
Yeah.
2023. That's how long another team has it.
A famous team.
They have the rights to it. But we're actually going to the old Tottenham Hall.
Oh, right.
Which is Tottenham Hall, just outside Manchester. And Haunted have it booked from now till 2023, so we can get in after them because they're on.
But we're down, so that's somewhere that we are dying to go at. I am been down to go there for a long time, so we've actually got a couple more lined up. It just has to be confirmed in October, around October time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that goes ahead.
Fingers crossed, I know.
Flynn says she is no harm. She likes to be around. She won't be in your way. She'd be text. I think that's to do with the lady in your house.
That's very true.
Yeah.
She's lovely.
She does.
I wish you could feel her. She's
I know.
amazing.
You just feel her coming around you, and it's just like this really
Cold hug.
and it's just amazing.
She is amazing.
Joanne from Secrets of the Afterlife says, has the female spirit ever warned you of a negative event to happen?
Well,
Cognition.
you can't. I sort of do that myself.
Yeah.
I can usually tell when things, being empathic, I can tell when things, something's not right. It's funny, I can never tell what it is, unfortunately, but I can always tell when something's going to happen.
But then she would be around you more.
But she would be around. I've noticed her, if there is something, or say one of my kids, my daughter, something wrong there, she'll make an appearance.
Okay.
And you can feel her around you, so it's like she's protecting you from, she may not be able to help, but she sort of guides you.
It's like, I'm okay. It's okay,
yeah.
I'm here.
Hugh says stone tape theory. I don't know what type of tapes you're putting in your recorders there, Hugh, but sorry. Sorry, no. That's just a joke there, Hugh. I'm messing there. Like stone tapes. Yeah, I know they used to have them in film, like, the cassette tape. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm joking. Sorry, you. Mary says, what's your favourite piece of equipment? I'm old school. I love dowels and rods, pendulums, and glasswork. Would you prefer all the new tech gadgets? Do you go into that sort of thing?
We do have some, and we do use them, but we find Carolyn has a board, and we find it, and between it and her own pendulum, we find they're the most effective, apart from your own senses. Your own senses have a long way to start, and we would use them before we'd say, well, we can feel this, so let's go and see if they'll communicate. And then maybe go on the board for a minute or use our pendulum or whatever. Depends where we are and if we have what equipment we have with us. But we use basically our own senses we use first, and then try to use tech. And sometimes you can rely on it, and sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's not.
I'm not 100% on these spirit boards, or not spirit boards, sorry, the spirit boxes.
Okay, yeah.
Spirit boxes. I don't, unless I'm getting direct answers to my questions, I don't have much faith in them. So I don't, I think there's a lot of random words come out of them, and people would sort of, because I would try to debunk things as we do when we're out, we do debunk things.
Yeah.
And I don't have faith, because it's just, it fires out random words, and then you can take that word into anything. You can say, oh yeah, well that's that name.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I just don't have faith in them.
Yeah, so I suppose it's like group bias then, of group conformity. If you hear something then and you say it, then another person thinks, yeah, I heard that too. Then I suppose it's,
Yeah, they can. If I'm asking a question to something and I'm getting direct answers, then yes, I believe I'm getting something there.
And you can use them to build energy. The likes of the wee spirit boxes go through the radio stations, and you can use them to build energy in a room.
True as well. Yeah, there's the kind of there's the effect of like if you don't use it, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah,
like if you do use it, sometimes you get the voices in the background away from the actual device. They're using it to hide, or and then if you don't use it, you don't get the voices in the background.
Exactly. You can't do right for doing wrong, basically. And loads of people use them and love them. Loads of people use them and don't rate them. It depends.
True, yeah. Like I personally myself, we've used them, and I was like, getting bored of it and all that.
Apart from that, the racket,
they're so loud.
but then one time, and we used it there, and we got like heavy breathing, and it was constantly heavy breathing, and this is unusual over a device, and it seemed to be coming from either the device or it was
that there is when you get stuff like that. It's like I say to everybody, paranormal, 80% you can explain. The 20% that you can't explain.
True.
We have had EVPs. Remember the one Gary took in the aviation? Yeah. That actually said my name.
Yeah, that was actually just on his phone, recorded on his phone.
When
you get something like that.
Yeah, it's cool out of the blue there when you get something.
It's the same in the board. Whenever we use the board, sometimes it might chip along the board, or when it's really strong, we might not even need our hands on the planchette. It's flying all over the place. You know, so when it's there, it's really there, but when it's not, if you know what I mean. So you know when it's real and it's not.
And then this is probably going on to the next question. Bridget says, "Hi ladies, have you used the Ouija board on investigations?"
Oh yes, quite regularly.
Quite regularly. And that's a good question. I could talk here forever. I'll see you next week. I'll still talk. The board, I actually thing up on the page today about the board, you know, because there's been a lot of conflict over the boards. And I personally think, I mean, the board is like, it's a board. It's like any other piece of equipment. It's your intention of using it.
True.
You know, like, I mean, you're using an EVP or a K2 or any of these things. Do you ask, you know, would someone like to communicate with us?
Well, they're either going to or they're not.
Yeah.
Really?
The board's the same. It's your intention. You know, it shouldn't be used, I'd say, with ones who are inexperienced or don't know much about the board. It can open up doors that can't be closed if it's not used properly. Mm-hmm. It's like any piece of equipment.
But anything can.
You know, so I know a lot of people think, no, I would never use them, don't use them. It shouldn't be used by anybody inexperienced.
True.
I do believe that, you know, but any equipment shouldn't be used by anybody who's no experience. You know, I mean, we always, when we use it, we open with our opening prayers or protection.
We close it.
We open it properly, we close it. You know, we say thank you to your guides and
you set your intention for what you want to use it for.
Mm-hmm. That nothing negative, nothing sinister is to come through. Mm-hmm. And if anything does, it gets shut down straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose people would blame you're moving it yourselves and all that, like unconsciously moving it yourselves.
Yeah,
I suppose with any experiment, any involvement, anything involving a human is contaminated. Even if you put a device in a room, you're contaminating the air because you're moving. If you're measuring air temperature, whatever, human involvement is contamination in any part there. Like, so I know people say that you might be moving it and all that, you know, but you just have to block that out and just, you know.
Like Anthony, you're going to have your believers and your non-believers and your, you know, the skeptics, the ones who are on the wall. You know, you're always going to have ones that no matter what they say, even if you were like 100% proof of something, they're still going to know you made that up, or you're not going to please everybody.
Until you and do it for yourself.
Yeah, I've had people who are skeptics who've come in, done the board with me, and have went out believing. Mm-hmm. Because they've seen it for themselves, and they've seen, now anybody I have on the board, I trust 100%.
Yes.
And I could tell that, you know, if anybody's moving it by their fingers after pushing it or whatever. But we had it move that much, couldn't even stop it.
There's times it just goes wild.
Just complete circles, everything.
Doesn't matter whether you have a glass or the wee planchette.
Yeah. And we've took our hands off and the thing was still going.
Mm-hmm. There's no way we can be moving it that fast. We don't go that.
You can't be doing it like when it's like that then. But when somebody, like, I suppose, as you said, it's your connection with the other person you're sharing that moment with, and you've got trust in each other there. And once that's there, like, you know, and you have the right intentions, you know what to ask and all that, then it works perfectly then as well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Well, not always. I mean, there's times it's dead.
There's times you get nobody. And I actually like that sometimes because it does show people that, right, when there's nothing wants to communicate or there's no spirits about, it's not going to move.
That means you're not making it up.
Not going to move. Proofs. And I do like it. Now, I don't like it all the time because I want to get, obviously I want to get, you know, but I do like that because I say to the people, see, it is not moving. There is nothing here.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not moving this.
We're not.
True. Where, you know, when it's not going to move, it's not going to move. I suppose like I've team members that like I connect on with the board there, like, you know, and it can come out babbling stuff there, you know, or it might not work at all. And it depends I suppose which way the frame of mind you are on yourself. Like if you're feeling like God, I might end this there soon there, and then they might know that in the conscious world there, like, you know, that you're not going to be putting the effort into going longer. I'm babbling on.
Today, you know, we're paranormal researchers as well. You know, what's the point in faking things?
There is no point. You know, we're there to learn.
We're there to learn and also debunk. You know, we've went to a lot of locations, been called out to places that we've debunked and said, look, you know, I'm sorry, but there's nothing here, or you are full of crap.
Or give me some of the drugs you're taking.
You know what I mean? So So, like it's like say everything's not paranormal, so it's like you're thinking outside the paranormal box, but you know, it's that part that you can't explain. You're thinking, well, you know, you've debunked everything,
Absolutely.
and then you say, yeah, there's something there.
True. I've got a few questions coming up there from Mary and Flynn. What I'm going to do is going to go on to the second subject, which is third eye adventurers there, because those questions are probably line up with the group as well. Folks, so we're doing the quiz there, and I like it because we're going to be talking about demonology later on there. So I have a word that you have to quickly type in. Be the first person to type it there, and we have a chance to enter a Halloween mega draw and mini draw. So the word that I'm going to give you is a 4-letter word, and it is omen. O-M-E-N. Be the first person to put that word in, type the word, and you're in with a chance to go into the draw. Joanne's got in there. Nice one, Joanne. First one in. So Joanne from Seekers of the Afterlife, Joanne has got omen, and they're all coming in now. Sorry there. But you just got in. Sorry, Mary. Sorry. But Norma's coming in. Adrian, thank you. Yeah, you've all got it right. The Omen, a song by the Prodigy. Amazing. And I'll come to you there, Karen and Tracy. You have a choice there. And Joanne, you'll have a choice as well. Pick one of the 6 locations there, and you have a chance to enter the Halloween mega draw and mini draw coming up, where you can win, I don't know, a pen or something. I don't know. It's not even logoed by us, just a pen, like, you know, probably sort of something from Paddy Powers or Lad Books or something like that. You know, I'm only joking. So the next subject we're going to be talking about is Third Eye Adventurers, ladies, which is your group there. Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell us there, how did the group form?
Well, we left our other group, which was Night Terrors, and we then formed our own. But our name came round as a kind of a joke because we love our caffeine. So it was kind of we were the tea ladies. So then it was Third Eye Adventures, which is TEA.
And me with my third eye on my tattoo, you see, and my. So it all sort of blends in together.
Blended in together because a certain one of us likes our tea.
Yes, that's your tea. So that's the initials. You see, the TEA, Third Eye Adventures.
Yeah, I know. That was amazing. I didn't even think of that when it's an anagram there. You know. Yeah.
So we actually had it was a good friend of ours. He was actually joined the team, and then he wanted to go solo. Thomas, he actually designed our logo for us.
Which is why it was the teapot. We kept it because it was a bit of crack.
And what's the common values you have as a team? What's your objectives together there?
We're really we're
like
similar. We're good friends, and we've both got similar interests.
And we trust each other. Yeah, we trust each one of us, and we wouldn't have anybody in the group we didn't trust.
And I mean, Cara's empathic, but I'm sort of sensitive to spirits. So I suppose we're kind of a bit similar in that way too. And we both want the same thing. We both want to find out more about.
And then we'll have our other team members, David Grogan. Yeah. I don't know if he's not on. I can't believe he's not on. David Grogan.
He's bound to be.
He's the, what was it called him? He's the hoot of the group.
Yeah. He's the joke teller.
He's the joke teller.
But he's very sensitive as well.
Yes, he can.
He would feel stuff as well, so he can tell more if it's male or female spirit that's affecting him by where it's affecting him. So.
And do you spot anything like with other teams that you try and do differently to, like you probably see other teams or the way, if you're with all the groups there on a group events there, is there ways that stuff that you do different? Do you try and do things a bit differently to other?
I'd say we're all sort of. I
think we all be
quite similar in the things that we do. You know, we just might have different ways of doing it and different abilities, different abilities and different likes of our equipment.
Some other teams have different abilities than us. You know, some will be more sensitive or less sensitive.
Or some prefer the certain cameras and stuff, and you know where we would be short. We try to keep it a wee bit minimal. You know, so we're not carrying around a load of stuff either.
But then other people would be more skeptical and rely on their tech.
Yeah.
You know, people in other teams we've known are skeptics and stay skeptics, and they would rely on like proper 100% has to be paranormal. Otherwise, you know, they're not believing it. They're debunking constantly, which is good.
But see, we also do it. We do it for ourselves too. We don't do it for really to try and we don't do it for profit. We're non-profit, and we help anybody too. We've helped people. We've helped. We've went to people's houses. We've helped them. You know, if they think there is some activity going on, we've actually hopefully a house case coming up. But we've also helped people who are further away. Just by talking to them and advising them on things, and maybe actually I signposted somebody over in America, who lived over there and actually contacted me about problems that we're having. But so I found them, signposted them to a paranormal group over there.
That was near them.
Because obviously I couldn't get over there as quick.
I know. We're not allowed in some ways at the moment, but it's have you, is there anything, because we were talking about this, is there anything before the show, is there anything that you forbid to do as a group?
Alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, alcohol.
They're the two biggies.
Drugs. Definitely not. I definitely don't advise alcohol. Yes, maybe after it. We'll do that if we go to our annual retreats. We'd have investigation then, maybe have a couple of drinks after. But I also don't. I've seen a lot of investigators, and there's one thing I wouldn't do is go out alone. That's one thing I would not do. Not because I would be scared to go out alone. It'd be the main thing if something was to happen, because I've seen what can happen when you're out in the dark, say around an old cemetery or a castle or forest. You could have a fall. You're out stuck on your own out there. So I do advise any investigators or anyone's new thinking of going into the field, do not go alone.
And if you must, tell somebody where you're going. And check in with them regularly, or have them, if you don't hear from me by 12 o'clock or whatever, come and look for me, or send somebody to find me or whatever, and you'll make sure you have some sort of backup plan in case you're going to find a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
Because basically it's unsteady.
I suppose it's the normal paranormal investigator protocols that thou shall not be alone there. And or at least let people know what time you'll be back or where you're going to, and make sure the place is safe to go to as well. Wherever you're going,
we've been to some occasions that it's hurry.
Yeah,
doesn't it? Like
safe.
It's if you had a fall, maybe down some hole, anything, say the ruins of a castle or something, God, you might be fine for weeks.
I know.
True. Yeah, it's true there.
Doesn't come along for another 3 or 4 weeks. You're stuck there. Maybe no phone, no nothing.
Right, because you can't always, as probably too. You're right. I mean, we were in Redwood there. About a month or so back,
no reception.
We could not get a reception at all. We couldn't get our phone at all because we were trying to do live feeds, and it was actually playing with our equipment. We could not get anything. So, I mean, if you're stuck, say, on your own.
Yeah, true. If so you have the location as well. You won't be able to contact anybody outside as well. You have to be wary of that as well.
Absolutely.
Make sure you got a stamp and a piece of paper to post. Am I joking? Mary says, have you ever come across anything quite simply cannot explain?
Quite what that you can't explain?
Loads. Loads. There's been loads that we've not been able to explain.
Where would you even start with that? There's been so many things that have kind of happened to us.
Yeah.
How many years has Third Eye Ventures been going? No, I know.
We're only a few months.
We're only a few months now. We have been investigators for about years or so now, but we've only formed our own group now a few months. This is our one, because we used to be married in a group called Night Terrors, Paranormal Researchers, and then we just broke off and founders of our own now. So
but that's only a few months. So But as for anything that we've not been able to explain, I'm not sure. God, explain,
because there's a lot you can't explain. Actually,
I know. I think I was saying it last night to somebody there. Like once you answer something, it opens up more questions. That's the thing. It's a forever like a tree of keeps on growing.
It's easier to answer. Has there anything that you can explain? That's actually easier to answer.
Yeah, it's probably easy to answer some of that. Yeah, if there's some stuff you can explain. Flynn says, what's the best EVP you have got on tape? Still thinking if it gives you goosebumps till date.
From Friday night at Cumber House, we actually have caught a growl on camera. It's very low, but it's there.
But we heard it with our own ears as well.
Yeah, we heard it right beside us in the room, but you can only hear it on the flipping camera. It's very low. You need headphones in, but it's on our page if you just want to go and have a look at it. But you will need headphones.
But also on the page, if you go into it, there were 2 video clips with the wee third eye logo, and 2 of them is from a location that I actually can't mention, but it's from a location, and each one. Now I'm not going to say what's on it. I'd like people to
figure it out.
For themselves to see, but it is clear, and that still to this day gives us goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I was going to say to you that, like, you heard a growl. Do you think this is a menacing spirit, or is it a spirit that is the only way they can communicate?
It's a man that used to own the house, and he was banished from the house, but he must still be able to float about to a certain degree, because he's quite nasty. But I mean, yeah, it was one growl though, and then
it was as clear. We all heard it like
anything.
Because we were all like, "Did you hear that?"
I know.
Did you hear that?
I was nearly like, "Hang on a
minute." Mary's got a question come up. Well, what I'm going to do is show a bit of video footage now. I think this is from the Le Mans Hotel now, and was it like a team thing, or was it just?
This was just me.
We're there for the night.
Yeah, this was the investigation, and I picked up straight away that there was something standing beside me, and so we started videoing it, and we caught that.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a piece of footage there, folks. Then, and probably ties in with Mary's question there. So this is from the Le Mans Hotel, and sorry, this is from the Le Mans Hotel, and this is County Antrim, and so let me tell us what you see. Okay, so that was from the Le Mans Hotel there. I hope that was slowed down, was it?
Yes.
That was in real time. If it wasn't slowed down, then I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened in that there, Cara?
Sorry, what?
Can you tell us what was seen? Was it?
It's actually just. I mean, we did debunk everything because I could feel it at the start before I started filming. I could feel it. I said, "There's something standing beside me." I could feel it's clear. I could feel it. So we started videoing, and we actually seen that one just passed right through the wall. Right through the wall, and we debunked everything. There was no mirrors there was no nothing. But then, even if it was a glares don't move across the screen and go through the wall. You know what I mean? It was as clear it was amazing to see that.
Mary says there, what's your opinion on orbs, dust or not dust?
Well, depends now. Yes, I get that there is so many of those wee orbs that you see floating, wee tiny orbs like that. That's dust.
A lot is
It's dust. It's insects. Now, but when you get the complete
proper
big orb,
yeah.
Now, which we have caught in numerous conditions, or places like
you can tell because
can
they
tell
move with intent rather than just floating about like a bit of dust.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually usually going somewhere.
They're usually going somewhere, or they actually be round a certain person.
True.
So they are, and they can actually change colours. Remember the one that was beside Michelle? With big red ones, purple ones. You know, there is a difference, but a lot of them is when you go into a building, any sort of building, especially if it's an old building,
ancient, it's full of dust.
And you're filming, you can see now there was actually a screenshot that we have on our page from Cumber House up in the wee ballroom. And you can see the dust flying everywhere. You can tell that's dust. But there's one particular orb. It was in the picture that was passing. You could tell it was different. That was around us.
That was on the
It wasn't
table
just scattering all over the place. So there is a difference. But yes, most cases it is dust.
And I suppose it's the only best way we can have a recording stuff. As I think Steve Parsons says, the actual name orb is a circle shape, like it's round. You know, it's we can only pick up on 2D imaging, like, you know, so it does actually sort of give it justice unless we're actually there ourselves there as well, or we assume what's there as well, you know. And I suppose like spirit lights and orbs goes back before any recordings were done. So, you know, people have been seeing these lights and all that, and it could be the actual word can mean some other stuff as well. It doesn't naturally mean like dust on or insects on the screen. Yeah, it's interesting. Adrian Hanley says, "Amen." I think I don't know what's to do because we mentioned demonology later, but I think it's to do with Omen. No worries, Adrian. Joanne says, "Hard times. I need a pen." No, you don't need a pen at the moment, there, Joanne. You know, you still, you know, you don't need a pen for the quiz there. Joanne says, we were in Redwood in June. Very interesting location to investigate, especially the chapel.
Oh, it's beautiful. Redwood's amazing. We didn't get much activity in the chapel. It was all upstairs for us, wasn't it? It was all upstairs and downstairs in the main sort of entrance.
And so it's amazing. Like location, all these properties there, they would have had chapels on them. That's where they would have got to. Only rich could get married in a chapel years ago, you know. Sean Manick says hello.
Hi.
And ghosties. Myra Thompson says she seen an orb, so I think that's to do with the footage as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Kate Barry. Hi, Mary Kate. Hi, you all. Great. Hey. You caught an EVP. The video got an orbs on left of the screen and a big one right across the screen camera lens. So Mary saw it as well. Sean says a ghost coming out the telly. Joanne says a bluish orb first, then a bigger orb, then a mist type orb. Kieran Joseph says, hello everyone. Hi Kieran, how you doing? How you doing? Bridget Burke says, we caught an orb on an investigation on camera, big circle, not dust. Colin says, I have seen orbs follow very deliberate paths around corners and up down staircases there.
That'll be right.
Mary says this is an interesting question because I suppose it's one of the divination kind of experiments that are not really mentioned. Have you ever tried automatic writing or automatic writing or drawing?
Well, we did. Sure.
We have,
in Redwood.
In Redwood, actually.
And tell them that story. Here's a good story for you.
There was whoever was there was not very nice, and they seemed to attach themselves to me. Now, my father passed 36, nearly 37 years ago, and they were pretending to be him. And then I says, well, can you draw something that only I would know? Well, it drew a new tattoo that I have on my arm. And it's actually done as a father and daughter tattoo for my dad, but I haven't even had it done a year. So obviously I knew that it wasn't who they were saying it was.
Right. Yeah, I know it's the automatic. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Tracy. Yeah.
Sorry, I drew the symbol of the tattoo on the page. We threw it out too. We should have kept it.
I suppose with automatic drawing, right? Yeah, it's another way. It's a good way of doing stuff there. Like it's one way as well. Planchette, automatic drawing, putting a pen in a planchette and connecting onto it there. Kieran Joseph says, I once heard a woof on a live stream.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you heard a woof. Was it just one woof or woof? Woof, Peggy. Sorry. Was this on the recording, Kieran? Maybe if you just say that, can we see the Kieran wants to know, can we see the tattoo as well?
Oh, how can I show you?
Hang on.
Where is it?
Okay.
Can you see that there?
Oh, cool. Is it like a tribal?
A Celtic.
A Celtic symbol. Cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because then I suppose some people would like going back to spirits years ago. If they saw saw certain marks, and you would be categorized as another clan or sect.
Possibly. It definitely wasn't my daddy that was coming through, because he wouldn't have knew anything about that.
No, most times it's most times the spirits that do come through, most of them they're not who they say.
No, we called it out and we were like, you're messing, you're not really anything to do with me or my family, and it just went straight to no. So that was it. Told to off.
I know. Sometimes but you do come across, like, I suppose, doing more spiritual stuff, especially the talking board or the glass divination and stuff like that. You do get spirits that might incline to be negative as well, and that's when I suppose trusting each other as ourselves as a team is more important, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. You definitely need to trust who you're with. Yeah. They'll help you whatever way they can. If you need to shut something down, they're with you on it.
It's when it actually starts giving you answers to things you're not even asking, and actually giving you direct answers.
Yeah,
happened to me a few times. It's actually started on its own, spelling out words.
Yeah, so it's like a type of telepathy as well, and that's the thing as well. Is it to do like supernatural, paranormal? There, if it's not ghosts, then it's what other powers like linking. Like if it knows what question is going to come up on the board, even if somebody's off it, has that in their mind. Is it telepathy? That's worth it. It's still investigating and all that kind of way between ourselves, like telepathy. Gary says, as a skeptic, I'll be honest, having been with Cara and Tracey on investigations, some of the evidence is amazing. I've had a cold feelings around me, heard voices, and had my coat pulled up at a location.
Right. You did, yeah. That was in Lisburn.
Oh, and there are things that definitely can't be explained. First of all, Gary, were you supposed to be wearing a coat? That's even more explained. I wasn't even wearing it. So I'm only joking. I'm messing with it. Sorry, Gary. But have you experienced stuff then, as like being tugged and stuff being poured up then?
Yeah, we've had our hair pulled, and we've been poked, and
I've had scratch marks on me.
Yeah, you've had worse stuff.
I had a hair on my arm coming from Redwood. The next I had fingerprints there, just like that, as if something's grabbed me. And I did feel on the bottom floor something around me, something heavy. And the next day I had definite fingerprints it lasted a week. And I've actually a scratch mark on my leg at the bottom, which is actually still here, and I can't get rid of it.
Right.
Range.
Really?
No.
Flipping it.
And I've had my hair pulled in Cumber House out in the barn. I've been slapped in the head in Ross Castle.
Jesus, you get around, don't you? You're sparring for the Olympics or something in France.
They don't like me sometimes because sometimes I can sense them, and I don't know. I don't take any crap, as I say. I don't, I try not to have any fear. I try not to, and they sometimes don't like that.
No, they don't like you standing up to them sometimes.
No. Now we do, but to put that out there as well, when we go, we don't provoke. We don't provoke.
This is just stuff that has happened as it went along. We do not provoke.
We don't provoke, and we do go in, and we always say we go in with total respect to any location that we go to and to any of the spirits, but we also don't take any crop from them.
Yeah.
Kieran says, I think it's to do with that. I think he's on about the video there. Can I see it again? I think it's to do with the tattoo there. Sean says, lovely tattoo.
Thank you.
And we're going to be talking about demonology soon, folks, so stay tuned there. Joanne says, do you think if you decrease, shut down one of your senses, blindfold, that others' senses are heightened, so like sensory deprivation?
I've actually done that with headphones before, and it does work.
Yes.
It does make your other senses tingle, I suppose. It's like a spidey sense. It's yeah, it definitely does. I've been blindfolded and just had headphones and a wee microphone.
We done that in the location Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, really good, actually. It did heighten. You could nearly hear a pin drop.
Yeah, it is. I suppose, does it help with like meditating, like tuning in more?
I don't know, because I wasn't trying to meditate at the time. I was trying to I was there for a paranormal investigation, so I wasn't meditating at the time, but I suppose it might if you could try it.
Well, see, we do journey meditation.
Oh,
and
it's amazing.
We've practiced now. I've been practicing it for a couple of years, but we've got Tracey into it too.
I've done a few.
We can actually go into a proper journey. Which is actually, see, when you do it, you hear nothing around you. You can't move your body.
Yeah, you're completely zoned.
You're just in your own world.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
If
and
you
it
haven't
actually
tried
opens the senses.
So it's like a type of mesmerism there, like mesmerizing, but like a type of hypnosis there, like
sort of, yeah. I suppose
it opens what I call your third eye.
It does.
It opens that sense that one that everybody has that ability to use. It's learning how to use it and how to shut it down. Because me being an empath, when I first actually I got grounded and centered by a Reiki master, and after that I didn't know how to shut it down, and I was getting visions, wasn't it, of everything, flashing visions. If I went into a location, I was getting not of the future, everything from the past.
Yeah.
And it was horrendous, but I was just getting this constant. I couldn't go anywhere. But now I've learned to be able to control it and to shut it down when I don't need it. And so when I'm coming up to investigation, I would try a bit of journey meditation again, open the third eye so my senses are heightened.
Cool.
So it really does work.
It does work. It's amazing.
So do you see more? So more from the past events, and do you see future?
No, I don't see future at all. I can get feelings of things that are going to happen in the future, or things that are going to happen, but I would get visions of the past. I can see things that have happened.
Okay.
Visions. There was a particular location. I'll tell you this wee story. There's a particular location I was in. Sorry, not location actually. It was a friend's house I went to stay, and this was just after I got my grounding and centering done, and I didn't know the place at all. And it was the first time I'd ever been in there to her house, and I stayed overnight and I slept in a spare room, and I was lying awake because I couldn't sleep. Obviously, sometimes when you're in somebody's house, but I got this vision of a child in a red romper suit lying on a silver table.
Okay.
And it's as clear as what it would be just sitting right beside me. And the child held his hand out, and I remember holding my hand out to hold the child's hand. And when I got home that next day, and it was a hat, I also seen a woman with this hat, a strange shaped hat with these things poking out the side. And I was like, what is happening here? So when I got home, I started researching the building that a friend lived in. And it turned out that it was an old children's hospital back in the 1600s.
Right.
And I think what I seen was a child who had passed away.
And the nurse.
The
big hat.
The hat.
Nurse.
And those days.
Right. Yeah. Like a type of nun, would it be? I mean, whether it'd be. Well, you never know. 1600, would it be? Yeah.
It could have been, because that particular road is where our space gallery is, and that was all.
Oh, yes,
that used to be a nunnery. There was a big children's hospital, and across the road from it was a school run by nuns. So could have been.
Colin says, the last investigation I did a few weeks ago, something was at my throat a lot. I had neck pain for days after it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
interesting, Colin. Yeah, I know some locations. I think I've only a couple of times a few times have been affected by. Well, I get quite. It was my vocal cords get affected a lot there. Mary Nolan says, hi ladies, have to cut and run, lovely meeting you, and I wish you all the very best in paranormal investigations from back in time paranormal investigators. I see you there, Mary.
Bye.
Bye, Mary. Take care.
And I hope you're not on a murder mission or something like that. Cut and run. Oh, God. Carl says, hi Carl. How you doing? Sean says, I often use blindfolds and sure heightens our senses. True, that's true, Sean. If you're with any team there, Sean, let us know there. Or if it's just to do with, I don't know what you do in your spare time using blindfolds. Okay. Only joking, a message, Sean. TJ Mills says, hi all, really great show. Had experience one night, can't explain, woken up feeling of presence leaning over me and pressure on my neck and heard get out in my ear. Girlfriend at the time was woken at the same time by feeling the same presence leaning over her to me. Was thinking, could it be sleep paralysis? But partner feeling it too made me think.
Definitely. Usually if it is that sleep paralysis, it's only the individual person. It's not. They wouldn't both feel that, and it can have what we call, especially when you are sensitive, and even people who aren't sensitive can still suffer from what we call the paranormal hangover, and it can last for days, and it can make you feel tired, drained, achy, just like you would if you have a hangover. But it's the energy that you absorb, or what the spirits of using, especially when you're using the board, we'd say, you can use a wee bit of our energy. Not at all, but you can use a wee bit to help, communicate. And so what it's doing is it's draining the energy from you, and you're going to suffer for it.
Absolutely, you do.
Yeah. True.
And I suppose, like as you mentioned there, TJ, I suppose it's two of you, so another person's witnessed the same feeling as well at the same time. Then I suppose the only other thing then is you're both in a half dream state then, and you both, I don't know what you were watching before, or you might have been watching something that might feature out before, like a movie. I don't know. We have to see the circumstances beforehand, but it is really interesting there. Now we're going to talk about demonology in a second there. Adrian, but I'll just go through your last question. What's the hi ladies, big fan of what you do. What's the worst ghost you ever saw? Thanks for your great stories.
Oh, the worst or the first?
Worst.
The worst thing I ever seen was in Sharon Rectory, and I seen whatever that was crawling towards us, and it actually grabbed one of the girls' legs, and I seen it with my own eyes.
So that Donna drew it.
Another girl from another team, she actually drew it.
We actually had to pick it. You could see it standing. It was like a figure standing at the bottom of the cellar at the stairs, and it actually dropped to the ground and it crawled along the ground.
But as fast, like lightning. It was so. It was amazing.
It was amazing to see, but
it scared us.
Jesus. I need a cup of tea after that, definitely, Tracey. So put some whiskey in it straight away. I don't drink whiskey. Put it in my tea, though, it'll be fine. Am I joking?
To Sharon Rectory that night, it was brilliant. We could hear stuff going on all night in the wee room we were sleeping in. It was brilliant.
Sean says, I do groups, but can get messy, usually just the one. I know, it's as you said there, Sean, if you ever looking to join a team, I know, or just, on an occasion there is groups out there. There's plenty of groups that take people then as well, it's safety in numbers as well. And then you get to meet people there, great contacts there.
Absolutely.
So, Joanne, hopefully you're still here with us there. You have a choice, one of these 6 places. I'm just going to show this. And you got a choice as well there, Tracey and Cara. So there's one of 6 places. Joanne, you have a choice: the island, windmill, subway, prison, bedroom, or cave. If you can pick one of those locations, just type it in. And then at the end of the show, we'll reveal if you're in the Halloween mega draw or mini draw. Now, Tracey, do you want to pick one of those places?
Prison.
You're going to prison?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I won't let you out. Cara, which one would you?
Right.
Which one are you going for, Cara?
Go for the cave.
The cave. Okay. Cave and prison. And Adrian says windmill. Unfortunately, Adrian, you're not in the draw. If you weren't first up there. Yeah, Sean saying windmill. If you're still there with us, Joanne, I'll give you 2 minutes. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. If not, it's going to pass down to the next person then. Which the next person is. It's probably going to be Mary, who's just gone and cut on one. Just checking. It's going to be Bridget, or from Seekers of the Afterlife as well. Joanne's come back. Prison as well. So 2 of you going to prison, okay?
And Joanne a lot.
You never know. You never know. So Joanne's just gonna Josephine Lanigan Bailey. Hi Josephine, how you doing? Many moons ago, my husband and myself entered a house that made us feel very uncomfortable living in. One night in particular, I was in bed and had the feeling that someone had sat down on the bed. I thought it was my husband. When I looked, no one was there. I could have done with a stiff drink. Yeah, it can happen there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's when I first doing the investigations there that happened more frequently to myself and other team members there that had it. That I suppose because we're indoctrinated not to be contacting spirits or ghosts and, you know, hanging out by abbeys and all that, because it's the first type of places we went to just to experiment there. And that's when we first come back then, we are like the hooded figure at the end of the bed there, because it's, you know, it's something frightening there. It's something that we shouldn't be doing, and it's in our brain indoctrinated that we shouldn't be doing it, and then it's the fear factor then. So, and you know, it's the first, as you said, paranormal hangovers there. It's the first time that you're in contact.
See, you can get a wee bit, you know, it can be a wee bit of like hysteria in a way too, that especially see if you go to somewhere and there is a lot of activity, your brain is still after that winding down.
Yeah.
So I mean, even up to a couple of days after it, your brain's still trying to process maybe things that you've seen and you've done.
And you're like, did I really see that?
Yeah.
You're nearly trying to talk yourself out
Yeah,
of it. Did I see that? But
sometimes,
you know what you've seen.
Like that fear thing that you're talking about, sometimes that fear, your mind can play tricks. You know, so a lot of that, you sort of got to try, you know, debunk some of it, because it's the fear, your fear can actually make you hear things and see things.
As well as that, also, I think your fear can also give you clarity.
Yeah.
Because I think it can, you know what you've seen, because your body and everything, every fiber of you is telling you that that's what you've seen. And I think it can also give you clarity as well as
it can.
That's what's trying to differentiate.
Yeah, I suppose it's true. You nailed it on the head there. You explained it perfectly there. Like, it's even days you're still trying to process what you're actually supposed to be doing. Like, you know, it's great what you said there. So we're going to talk about demonology, and I suppose when we're just talking about that, and then so we mentioned the word demonology, people think like, oh my God, there's a demon behind you and all that, and people are like frowny faces and all that, you know. But tell us, Cara, what's the background behind demonology?
Well, see, I just always had this real fascination with it, because you watch the films, right, the Hollywood films, and that's what they are, is Hollywood films of these demons, and you see the demons, but you know, crawling out of the corners, and you know, and that's not. I mean, demons to me, in my view, is the demons are within the person. So they are. Your demons are in your. It's not saying in your head per se, but I know that there's evil exists. There's evil exists, and there's good exists. There's the spirit levels, as I believe in spirit levels. And I believe that an individual person can actually manifest a demon. Their own, and I don't mean demons when you say the Hollywood films that, you know, you see these demons and people getting their heads spinning around, and that's all Hollywood. The demons, I mean, if a demon affects somebody, there is a real demonic energy around them, it's going to affect them in the way of changing their personality. You know, so I mean, if you got to look down the line from years, like say serial killers, murders, all these, that's all a part of their demons.
True.
That is a demon.
As you say, I suppose, as you said there, I suppose you look at the 7 deadly sins, like it's the sins, I suppose, there when you come to look at it there as well. I doubt you can probably say that it's not there, or, you know, if you better explain it than me, but is it something like that? Is it's the intent? It's the like sins, like as you say, gluttony, greed,
It is.
being horrible by a neighbour and stuff like that.
I believe that's that is what it is, and I know there's energies out there. I mean, just another wee story to tell you about something that happened to me. This is years ago. This has got my fascination into demonology, and this was years ago. Like, it was me and a friend. Must have been about 15, and we were actually going up to collect my sister, and we seen this legendary. It's called. People have seen him all around the world. It's the Black Shadow Man, man with the red eyes.
Yeah.
This Black Shadow Man with this hat and the red eyes. Well, we can vouch, and I have this friend who can actually confirm this. We actually seen him.
Right.
We were actually waiting for my sister to come out of this building, and we were standing in this alleyway. We had looked down, and it was actually starting. Now we both seen it, and we run. We actually run. We just run as quick as we could to get away from that. Never seen him again, right enough, thank goodness. But once was enough. And it always sort of fascinated me. You know, I'd like to know more. I know that wasn't a spirit.
Yeah,
I knew that wasn't. So what was that?
Hmm.
And it's you know, demons go right back to the friggin' BC. You know, back to BC. People have been talking about demons, and you know, but even then, it's like you said, it's the intention.
Hmm.
So you know, I mean, through the years, you've had people who are, as it says, serial killers, murderers. There's wars, there's evil people, pure evil people. And to me, that's the demons that are inside the people. It's not these ones that are crawling through the door on their.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a demon would be explained more like as you well said, like not Hollywood, like all these like winged kind of animals, where it's more like it's like a conscious mind performing serious crimes, you know, sins or stuff like that. That's interesting. So what you're a demonologist yourself there, Cara. What is it?
Yeah, I of course, Anthony, a diploma on demonology, but modern day demonology. I done it. And it's actually tells you all about the sort of, just like I said, they're about the sort of demons, that the intention, it's in the person. So it is, but also how to cleanse. I can do exorcisms, but the modern day ones, not with the, you know, the Latin rites and the religion part is out. This is not to do with religion. It's the use of like smudging. I can cleanse people, objects, stuff like that, you know, and I know how to sort of, especially with the spirit boards, how to open, close them, how to dispose of them properly. You know, you can't burn boards. You can't just throw them in the bin. That actually happened. Madison done that, didn't she?
She did.
That's another.
Did you put it in the recycling bin or the right bin, or which bin does it go into? I don't know.
My daughter established this about 2 or 3 years ago when she was a bit younger. And I didn't know anything about this. They had made a makeshift one and had done it out the front of my house. Now, my son and his now wife was in the house at the time, and we felt something come through the house. And I knew it wasn't good. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was nothing, you know, but it was a quite heavy energy came through the house. And I couldn't understand where it had came from because I hadn't been out on any investigation or anything. And it was a couple of days after that, she says to me, well, can I talk to you? And she says, we done the Ouija board. And I says, where did you get one? She says, oh, we made it. We looked it up on, you know, YouTube, and we made one. I says, what did you do with it? I threw it in the bin. I says, did you close it down? No, she just threw it in the bin, and it was away with the bin people. So whatever it was that she had brought out of that, it actually came through the house. Now, I only had to do the one cleansing to get rid of that one. But she had, so it just shows you it can happen with the wrong intention.
And as you said, like you did it like a course, there is a ways of being like that sort of apprentice, or being under going first-hand experience of being under someone, and that you've gone to places like to cleanse and all that.
I've done cleansing of places, so I have, and people. So I have, but now I've never done like a full-blown exorcism because I don't actually believe that they totally exist.
Okay.
you know, like possession, as like what we were talking about earlier. I don't believe that I would have to really get the honest, like I said before, the honest truth, you know, like, is there mental health issues there that leads the person to believe? Because you can actually, with spirits, if a spirit is told enough when they go to a location that it's bad, that it's evil, it's actually going to believe that.
True, yeah. And and it's like if you were told, like same with a child, if you told them they're evil
or you're bad,
yeah,
yes, got to believe that. It's the same as if somebody is showing signs of like mental health and you're telling them you're possessed, they're actually going to start to believe it.
True, yeah. I know, and I suppose that happens with some cases in other different cultures. That's why I suppose it doesn't happen as much now, and because of what happened through the decades as well with the church as well. But what sort of tools are needed to be a demonologist, like methodology, like?
Well, the way that you'd say that they say priests and all would use them in the sort of the Latin rites and stuff, they would use their Bibles and whatever it is they use and their holy water and all. Now I do have holy water up the stairs. I've yet to use it. But mostly I would just be bringing my crystals. I would use a lot of crystals, being the White Witch.
Wait, practice demonology?
No,
just interested.
I'm interested more. I haven't had to practice it. Thank goodness. I haven't had to, but the interest is there, and I would go out to your house and I would help anybody that needs help with it.
Whether it be a demon or just
whether
a
it be a demon or a spirit, you know, I can cleanse the house, and mine would be using crystals, my candles and stuff. That would be the part of me being the White Witch as well. Because it's modern day, you can use stuff like that. Your sage, your Palo Santo, I would use as well. White sage, salt, stuff like that. It's your intention too, standing up to him, you know, and not letting him away, you know. It was the time, I remember, was it Graham? I went down to his house. It was Ethan had brought something, and from Edinburgh, and I just went down and I done a sort of a ritual down there and a prayer, and they actually helped to get rid of it.
So it's more, is it kind of like, it kind of evolved demonology to like kind of witchcraft? Is it kind of go around that way as well?
Yeah, but it is interesting if anybody's interested in doing it. It's called para-learning. There's what they do diplomas now. I've done a few. I've done one on demonology, one on ghost hunting, and one on the scientific part of it. Okay. So it's debunking things, you know, like when you first go into a location, you know, you're finding out that make sure like there's no windows open, there's no electrical, you know, stuff that's going to be around to mess with your equipment, you know. So you're doing your base work first. So it teaches you all that, you know, how to rule out all that before you pick up any evidence. So
okay, I just come to a few of the questions there because it coincide with what I'm going to ask, I suppose. Anyway, before that, I was going to say hi, Liz. Hi, Liz. How you doing?
Hi. What is that, Liz Reeves? I don't know.
Liz Reeves, how you doing, Liz?
Hey, hi,
rest in peace. I think IP Paranormal. Hi, Liz. Mary from GhostÉire. Hi, Mary. Out last night. Hi, sorry, I'm late logging. No problem, Mary. A bit shattered last night. I don't know. Was it foggy where you were, Mary, going back last night? I'm not too sure it was foggy where I was. I know going back to the west. Mary was going back to Kilkenny. Joe Manick says, what is the devil's sign behind you there? Very scary, but very interesting. Oh, didn't even know that. Which person? I think it's me. I think it's because of the devil sign. I know it's just words. It's just words. Yeah, it's just to freak you out. I don't know if it's behind you there. Oh yeah, no, I see it there behind you there, Tracy. I'm only joking. I'm messing. Adrian says, serious note, are serial killers affected by demons?
Because I believe I've done criminology as well, and I do believe that there's something. I think there's something. I just think there's a link to it because these people, you know, I do believe in serial killers that they're actually born that way. You know, I do believe that there's something in. I mean, to make somebody even do stuff like that, that is just pure evil. It's scary.
Colin says, what I always found about demons is every religion and every culture has a mention of them. I suppose that's true. I suppose it's a set of rules again as well, which is no harm either as well. I suppose we can all give out about religions then, but I suppose with a set of rules, it does set an example of being nice to people as well, and I suppose there was, it's that way as well in all cultures. But as the word demon, I suppose then it goes back to like pagan times, deities then as well, and it's actually, I suppose in ancient Greek it was to do with I think it was to do with energized or generate or something like that. I think it's the word meaning in ancient Greek. It's like even like the devil card in the tarot pack. I think it means just energized as well. Like, not necessarily evil, not unless there's 3 devil cards in a pack. I'd be like, whoa. So, have you ever witnessed an exorcism? Joanne says from Secrets of the Afterlife.
One, no, and I'm hoping I never have to do that. Like, but I don't like I said, I don't really believe that anybody can be completely possessed like that. They have to have a cleansing maybe, but to have a full blown exorcism.
I know I think it's to do with, I suppose, religion again. It's an oath as well. You swear the devil to an oath. Hi, Liz says hi, Brian. I think Liz is talking to Brian McMahon.
Yeah. Hi, Brian.
Patrick Schring says, Sean Mannix messaged me. I have some vibes for your love life if you're depressed or facing any and if you want a reading. Okay, so Patrick's talking to Sean there. Liz says, very well. How's you? I don't know if they're talking behind their backs here. Patrick says, message me. I have some. So Patrick is getting through and getting a few clients. Hi, Patrick. Mary says, hi Mary, how you doing?
Hey, Mary.
How you doing? Sean says, I think Patrick is a scam and chat. Okay, no worries there. I know. Okay, there we always get. Anyway, so there we go. That's live feeds for you there. Anyway, we're going to come to the quiz now in a second. So Joanne and sorry, there's the poll. So we asked you there, do you think demons are evil? And I'm going to show you what the results are. So there was 5 options to pick from, and here is the results. Now I'm going to get your views on this now, Tracy and Cara. See what your views are. We asked, do you think demons are evil? And you had a chance to vote on this, folks, and here are the results.
That's cool.
So here it is. 71.4% said yes, but I'm yet to have had an experience, and 14.3% said yes, I have experienced it, and 14.3% said no, I haven't had that experience. So 71.4% said yes, they do think demons are evil, but I'm yet to have that experience. What do you think about that, Tracy? I'll go with Tracy first.
I do believe that they exist, but I don't know how they exist. Now, I don't research into that sort of end of things at all, but I know they do exist. But where they came from, I don't know. I think they're like they can come from like old occult religions that have maybe stuff has been summoned or whatever or created. It's a hard one, that. I've never experienced one to my own eyes either. So apart from that thing, whatever that was, you can't call it a demon because I don't know really what it was.
What it is.
And I suppose it's like, what do you think, Cara, yourself?
Well, I don't believe that every single demon potentially is evil. I don't believe that they're all intention of ruination. I do believe, yes, they are from they're very, very old pagan religion it came from. It has come from, I mean, people think that, like I say, that they'll just pop up, but a demon actually would have to be summoned. And I do believe that certain locations that there has been maybe way back 10th, 12th century, there has been a lot of witchcraft and pagan rituals that actually have summoned, and usually by witchcraft, by the wrong type of witchcraft, by the way.
Mm.
The wrong type of witchcraft, sort of the black arts and stuff that they've went and summoned them onto a certain property where they can actually lie dormant. They can lie for hundreds of years, and it would only take one. Like, I believe at certain locations too, if there is, like we were talking about seances, constant seances, what you're doing is you're inviting.
Yeah.
You're actually inviting them in.
I think that's what happened in the seance I was in.
Yeah, you're actually inviting them in.
They were always inviting people, and they were doing that quite regularly for paranormal teams to have that experience.
Yeah.
And then I think it was after that it got too much.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I suppose, sorry, Tracey, yeah.
But I actually don't believe that they're all evil. It's like, I don't believe that all good is good.
And I suppose, like, I'm just going back to one of the, like, nobody voted for no, and I believe I experienced demons. So I suppose that you were saying there, it's like a summoning in, like it's somebody creating that kind of manifestation.
Yeah, I mean, you it's like you say, if you're asking on a poll, how many people have actually, if you ask anybody, how many people have actually witnessed demonic presence? There's not very many who will have said, yes, I've actually witnessed that, or I've seen it. Yes, we have seen things, but we cannot turn right and say that was demonic. Don't know.
And I suppose, as you said, like there's a close, like I suppose, like resemblance to an elemental there. As you said, it's like pagan times, and I suppose like it's summoned up there. So I suppose there's like a different category of kind of entity as well, like but they're quite similar there. But as you said, it's to do with culture there as well there. So so most people have said yes, and they have had that experience. So that's interesting there. A few questions have come in. Joanne says, have you ever needed the assistance of a priest to get rid of a demon, extremely negative energy?
No. Thank goodness. No, I haven't. Not yet.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Not just yet there. No, I probably, like everyone, probably like last Halloween I did a documentary there, a little mini documentary called The Exorcism of 2009. It was about our own team there. We did an exorcism back in 2009, and it was to do with how it was done wrongly by ourselves there. And we were going by media, by Hollywood and by the culture, religious rites and all that, and we did an exorcism. As you said, it didn't work. It was still there, but we learned from what it was. It was actually talking to the people there that actually answered what was wrong in the house there.
Yeah.
But, Colin says, funny story. During an investigation, I was watching an energy on an SLS camera. One of the people have decided to try and get a reaction from it, shouting, "The power of Christ compels you." I laughed and thought that it would never work. With that, the energy went from vertical to horizontal and vanished. And I had seen it, I would have thought it was a wind-up. If I had not seen it, I would have thought it was a wind-up.
Wow.
Do you use the SLS camera yourselves?
We have done.
Yeah,
we have done. We have got some interesting stuff on it.
We have,
we have. Things that just, and you're thinking, well, there is nothing. There's nothing now that I could even pick up on. Would be a figure. So yeah, there has been some interesting stuff on it.
Sometimes, yeah.
I won't personally use it myself, but then again, if other people, it's some groups do and some groups don't. It's different types of experiments there and equipment there. So I'm just going to come to that. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them forward, folks. There, we're coming to the end of the show. God, it's gone quick there,
It's actually
flown by there. So first of all, can you tell us what you've got coming up in the future there, Cara and Nigella? Cara and Tracey, sorry.
It's past your bedtime,
I know, I've gone past it. It's still groggy there.
Well, we're hopefully now we're heading out in one this weekend. We'll sort of can disclose it after the weekend.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say yet.
We're not allowed to say, but we can afterwards, hopefully.
Yeah.
Then we'll have the one in Cumber House, the big live one.
It's in about 3 weeks.
We have one, hopefully, it's going to be confirmed in October. It's called the Riddlers.
Oh, cool. That's cool. That's cool name.
In Belfast.
Yeah.
It's that big. We're hopefully back again in Antrim Castle Gardens. We just have to confirm the date with them because the girl's been off sick, so she hasn't been able to confirm it with me. But we'll have that. And what else have we got? We've got Ulster Aviation.
Aviation in October.
Cool. Brian and the lads there. It's an amazing place.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's the one my husband will come to because he loves the planes and the history of it all. And
you get in the cockpit of the helicopter there, and it's an amazing place. We've been there ourselves there, and it's great. And Brian and Maliki, and I think it's Maliki, they're cool people.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
So, and hopefully another couple of maybe wee local ones coming up then to, Christmas time, sort of local ones. We would go down quite, what's the last one? We used to be one we used to go to in Shabby. Ballybowley Forest. But now Ballybowley recently they have been taking down all the trees.
It's half cut away.
It's half cut away. So the whole atmosphere of the place has changed.
Jeez, yeah.
It's not the same. It's the last time we were there. How long ago was it that we were there?
4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe longer.
Maybe a couple of months ago. And then it was one of the Thomas actually went a few weeks ago, and he says they've took even more trees down.
Yeah, they've cut it away. So practically nothing.
It's actually ruined the whole atmosphere of the place.
Oh, God, that's horrible. It's like a building just cutting it down. It's a bit
awful. Disease in the trees. That's forced fell so many, but it must be thousands of trees getting felled there.
I suppose when it's disease, and I suppose it's I don't know. It's you have to do some to save others, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't really know.
I have a few other locations that I've been in contact with trying to get into. I can't name them yet until I can get confirmation from them as well. But once I do, I will put it up on our page anyway.
Absolutely.
So if people want to keep an update on our page, see them hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So that's Third Eye Adventurers Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any other ways people can contact you?
We have a Twitter page, it's the same name, and we have a YouTube channel, but now there's not very much on it.
We've just started sort of,
trying to get things edited.
Dean Wilson, if he's still on there listening. I've sent you some videos, Dean.
And he wants to be our YouTube editor.
Liz says from RIP Paranormal, many years ago from an investigation at Bay Beautiful Castle down south, while in the room I had a spirit of a man approach me and ask, "Am I a demon?" I told him, "No, you're not." The energy in the room lifted and the energy was lovely. As stated before, lots of teams are demon mad due to TV influences. Again, if you told someone often enough, they won't think or another in time could believe they are, which is very sad. Yeah. That's true there, Liz.
That's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
True. And as I said there, as you said there, we did an experiment there. We got this board there. It's called a manifestation board, and it's got categories of different spirits on it there, or different types of spirits like doppelganger or fairy and all that. And it went to, we asked what spirit, what entity do they think we are, and it went to demon. So they thought we were demons there, but because it was this old site, this was an old hill fort.
Yeah.
Like the demons were worshipped years ago, and they thought that they were looking upon us like for inspiration like that. So it's how they interpret what a demon is as well, And as Liz said there, if you tell somebody all the time something there, they're going to believe you after a certain time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's nice what you said there, Liz, there, back to the spirit. Myra Thompson says, really enjoyed this. No harm, Myra. Love to you all. Mary Dargan from GhostÉire. Hi, Mary. Have you ever been to Stradbally Wood in County Laois? Really interesting energies in a couple of areas. Shh, Mary, we're going there in a few weeks' time. Don't tell the lads there. I'm only joking. Imagine. Have you been there?
No, we haven't.
Never heard of it. Tell us what it's
where is it?
Stradbally, County Laois.
Stradbally, County Laois.
Right, we're gonna be on that now.
Race down there after the show.
Go to Mary. We went to the Coen Ghost House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ghost House.
Is it Strad Valley, STRAD?
Stradbally, yeah, sorry, Stradbally Wood in County Leash there. I think that's, I don't think where the festival at County Leash is amazing there. I think it's on the way to Slane there. Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, because them woods have gone there, haven't they, Tracey?
Yeah.
The coal barn, as it, how do you say it again?
The Coen Ghost House.
Coen Ghost House. Yeah.
Coen, yeah,
I think,
pronouncing it, yeah. We've been there, so I've been there a couple of times. It's interesting. The first time we went, we got more activity outside the house. In a woman's voice. Now we actually got outside the house. We didn't get much inside it at all. It was mostly outside it.
Okay. So folks, we're coming to the end of it. So this is the quiz there. So we got Joanne. Joanne picked the prison, and Tracey picked the prison, and Cara picked the cave. So you're going in the cave by yourself there, Cara. Good luck.
Yeah, go in.
So here it is. There's only another couple more times you can do this, folks. So there's a choice between the island, windmill, subway, prison, bedroom, and cave. Here it is. So if you picked the cave, windmill, or subway, no luck. Sorry there, Cara. Stuck in the cave. And the bedroom there was in the middle mini drawer. And well done, Joanne and Tracey. You're in the Halloween mega drawer where you can win 2 pens.
2 pens.
I'm only joking. I'm messing with that.
Text my address. I want the pen.
We might give you a bit of paper as well for if you're any good. You know. So that's that piece of rubbish done. Anyway, I'm only messing with you there. So we've gone on. What I'm doing, folks, is we've got an opportunity for whoever's watching who hasn't been on the show yet on the GhostÉire channel. I'm giving you the option there to contact me there. Anyone who's watching, part of any team, or if you're into any genre of the paranormal, contact me here, and you could be on the show in 2 weeks' time. We have an open slot for the show for a change. So thank you, Cara and Tracey.
You're welcome. It was great to meet you.
You're very welcome. Thanks very much for having us.
No worries. And so keep posted with Third Eye Adventures and Tracey and Cara's journeys, and we'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks' times there. Joanne says, yay, pens, yeah. Yeah, we all need pens. We're always looking for pens anyway. It's never going to go out of fashion there anyway. Not yet. So thank you, folks, and thank you for commenting. Thank you for Patrick for advertisements tonight there. I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near distance. Bye now, folks.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.